in the winter of 1944, a unit unlike any other was born within the US. Yeah, military. The Ghost Army, as it would come to be known, was officially named the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops. Comprising 1,100 men, this extraordinary force was designed to mislead enemy forces during critical operations in World War II. Before tonight is over, you will discover how this secretive unit deployed innovative methods to create illusions of vast military presence and gain strategic advantage for the Allies. This unit was no ordinary military force. It included artists, fashion designers, and specialists who could mimic the sounds and signals of a full army division. Their mission: to deceive the enemy into believing a large force was nearby where there was none. The Ghost Army used inflatable tanks, sound trucks, and cleverly orchestrated radio broadcasts to create the illusion of a massive military presence. Their operations were documented by various news outlets and historical sources, including Smithsonian Magazine. But how did these men pull off such convincing deceptions? And why was their existence kept secret for over 50 years after the war ended? As we delve deeper into their story, you'll uncover the ingenious methods and the vital role they played in turning the tide of World War II. For now, let's set the stage for their most critical operation. The Ghost Army was activated in January 1944 and landed in France that summer, ready to execute a series of daring maneuvers that would change the course of the war. Their official name was the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, and their missions were so classified that many details remained unknown until recent decades. The Signal Company Special played a crucial role in conducting spoof radio operations, mimicking real military communications to further confuse the enemy. One of the key figures in this unit was Bernie Bluestein, an artist from Cleveland who enlisted at the age of 19 in March 1943. It's through individuals like him that we can begin to grasp the unique blend of artistry and military strategy that made the Ghost Army so effective. The Ghost Army operated throughout Europe during World War II, from Normandy to the Rhine. Their deceptions gave actual Allied troops time to maneuver undetected and gain a strategic edge over the enemy. But what truly sets the Ghost Army apart is their official designation. They were the first mobile, multimedia, tactical deception unit in US history. Their innovative methods and secrecy played a pivotal role in shaping the outcome of World War II. As we continue to explore their story, you'll learn more about how they executed these deceptions and the impact they had on the war effort. For now, take a moment to imagine the creativity and courage required to pull off such extraordinary feats in the heat of battle. Their existence may have been shrouded in secrecy, but their contributions were nothing short of monumental. The Ghost Army used deception to shape the course of history, and their story serves as a testament to the power of ingenuity and bravery under fire. Before we begin, a small request. Most of the people listening tonight aren't subscribed. If this channel has ever helped you drift off, take a moment to subscribe. It's free, it helps this channel more than you'd think, and you can always change your mind later. And if you feel like it, leave a comment telling me where in the world you're listening from and what time it is where you are. I love reading them. One more thing before we begin. I'm also a co-founder of a sleep app, built to be the most affordable one out there. No ads, ever. Just sounds and stories made to help you sleep. It may not be released yet as this video goes up, but if you're watching a little later, it might be out by now. Just search for it, it should be easy to find. It works on iPhone, Android, and everything in between. Downloading it is the best way to support this channel. The Ghost Army's success wasn't just about numbers, it was about the unique skills of its members. Hand-picked for their high IQs and creativity, these soldiers brought a level of ingenuity rarely seen on the battlefield. Their mission was to convince Nazi high command that entire divisions were present where there were none. This required a level of creativity and skill found in very few places outside Hollywood. The unit consisted of 4 distinct companies, each specializing in a different layer of the illusion. These were not mere soldiers, they were theatrical professionals, masters of their craft. Soldiers like Bernie Bluestein joined the Ghost Army to contribute his skills in deception operations. His creativity, was a weapon just as powerful as any rifle or tank. Their success relied on the creativity and skills of its members. Without them, the Ghost Army would have been just another unit, not the game changer it became. Think about the intricate details involved in making a fake division seem real. The smallest mistake could blow their cover. These Ghost Army members weren't just soldiers, they were illusionists, each playing a critical role in the grand deception. Amidst the chaos of World War II, an unusual strategy emerged within the Ghost Army's repertoire: inflatable tanks. Each inflatable tank weighed just 93 pounds, a stark contrast to their real counterparts, which could weigh upwards of 60,000 pounds. Imagine soldiers meticulously setting up air compressors to inflate these rubber tanks within minutes, creating an entire armoured division in France during 1944. The Ghost Army employed these inflatable M4 Sherman tanks to simulate strength where there was none. A member of the 603rd Engineer Camouflage Battalion might stand in front of an inflatable tank destroyer, adding to the illusion of a formidable force. These visual deceptions were part of a broader tactical plan that included sonic and radio deception to misdirect the Germans. Inflatable rubber tanks and vehicles served as crucial components in the Ghost Army's elaborate illusions. The Ghost Army's tactics were so innovative that they became the subject of a detailed book, The Ghost Army of World War II, published by Princeton Architectural Press in October 2023. These inflatable tanks illustrate one of their key methods for deceiving the enemy into believing a large force was nearby during critical operations in WWII. But the Ghost Army didn't rely solely on visual deception. They also employed a sophisticated use of sound effects to mislead enemy forces. This multifaceted approach ensured that the Germans would believe they were facing a large and formidable force, even when there was none present. They had a collection of sound effects records that included everything from troop movements to engine noises. These recordings were played at critical moments to give the impression that there was a substantial force nearby. One of their most effective techniques involved playing pre-recorded conversations between soldiers and officers. This gave the Germans the false sense that they were overhearing genuine military activity, further adding to the deception. The Ghost Army also used sound effects to simulate artillery fire and other heavy equipment. By playing these recordings at varying intervals, they could create the illusion of a well-equipped and active force in motion. It demonstrates the Ghost Army's commitment to using every available tool in their arsenal to create a convincing illusion of a large force, even when none was present. Their ingenuity and creativity made them an invaluable asset during the war efforts. From forging a convincing illusion of a large force even when none was present, the Ghost Army turned to one of their key missions, Operation Viersen. Here, they would showcase the full extent of their deceptive strategies. The objective was clear: to mislead German forces into believing that a significant American unit was in the area. But with no actual troops to deploy, the Ghost Army had to rely on every tool in their arsenal. They began by impersonating different US units for each operation, each one designed to fool German intelligence into thinking that a large force was nearby. But visual deception was only one part of their strategy. Sound effects records were used to mimic the noise of a large force on the move. Operation Viersen demonstrated the Ghost Army's mastery of deception. Their creative and innovative methods not only misled enemy forces, but also played a crucial role in the overall war efforts. In the grand chess game of World War II, these men, artists and soldiers alike proved themselves to be indispensable assets, their creativity saving lives and changing the course of battle. Saving lives isn't always about direct combat or heroic acts on the battlefield. Sometimes it's about deception and creating a clever illusion. Their significant contributions to the war effort underscore a profound truth. Saving lives isn't always about direct confrontation. Sometimes it's about outsmarting the enemy. In this critical operation, an intriguing element played a crucial role in tipping the scales: the Ghost Army. Their mission? To deceive the enemy into believing that large forces were nearby, when in reality, they were merely a handful of skilled individuals. The Brest Siege was no exception. Here, the Ghost Army employed their signature tactics to create the illusion of a massive force. By misdirecting the enemy's focus and resources, the Ghost Army played a pivotal role in the successful outcome of the Brest Siege. And as the siege drew to a close, one thing became clear. The Ghost Army's ingenuity had tipped the balance in a way that no traditional force could match. This is the story of a siege that wasn't won by brute force alone, but by the cunning and creativity of an extraordinary unit. In a studio in New York, art students sat huddled around an inflatable tank, brushes and paints at the ready. Their task, to make this dummy vehicle look real enough to fool enemy reconnaissance. Artists were crucial to the Ghost Army's deception tactics. Their expertise was leveraged to add layers of realism that could convince German forces of a larger Allied presence than actually existed. Fashion designers from Manhattan would critique the paint jobs, ensuring each tank looked weathered and worn, just like those on the front lines. This multidisciplinary approach to deception was a cornerstone of the Ghost Army's operations. Each artist brought their unique perspective to the table, enhancing the overall illusion and making it that much harder for German forces to discern what was real and what wasn't. The Ghost Army's innovative methods of deception left an indelible mark on military strategy. But their impact wasn't merely tactical, it was also cultural. A documentary film about the Ghost Army premiered on PBS in 2013 and has been shown in more than 25 countries. This film wasn't just a retelling of historical events, it was a testament to the enduring significance of their work. The documentary delves into how these men, many of whom were artists and fashion designers, crafted intricate illusions that fooled even the most seasoned military minds. But it's not just their methods that have left a legacy, it's also the spirit of innovation and creativity they embodied. Their story has been shared across continents, sparking conversations about the power of deception in warfare and the role of artists in military strategy. Their enduring significance lies not just in their wartime contributions, but also in how they continue to shape our understanding of conflict and creativity. And as we look back on the Ghost Army's legacy, we recognize that their innovative methods continue to echo through the corridors of military strategy and beyond. Their story serves as a reminder of the profound impact creativity can have in even the most unconventional settings. To reinforce the illusion of a massive force, the Ghost Army employed a technique known as sonic deception. Sound recordings of various military activities were meticulously collected and played back to mimic the sounds of a large army in motion. Tank movements, troop formations, and even distant artillery fire were captured on records designed to simulate the presence of thousands of soldiers. These recordings were strategically played using speakers positioned to create an acoustic illusion, making it seem as if a vast force was nearby. The Ghost Army's use of sound was not merely to create noise, it was carefully calibrated to evoke the sense of a specific military operation in progress. The effectiveness of these sonic deceptions lay not just in their volume, but also in their authenticity. The realism was enhanced by artists and sound engineers who fine-tuned the recordings, ensuring they captured the subtle nuances of military operations. By combining these sonic illusions with visual deceptions such as inflatable tanks and jeeps, the Ghost Army created a convincing facade that misled German forces into believing they were facing a formidable enemy. It's 1944, the height of World War II. In a nondescript field near Fontainebleau, France, a strange assembly line is underway. Not of weapons or munitions, but of something decidedly less deadly: inflatable tanks. These aren't just any inflatables, they are exact replicas of the formidable M4 Sherman tank. Each weighs a mere 93 pounds, but when fully inflated, they can pass for the real thing from afar. But the visual trickery doesn't stop at tanks. Inflatable jeeps and artillery pieces complete the facade. These illusions were meticulously planned to give the Germans a false sense of security. Fake radio transmitters broadcast signals mimicking real military communications. All these visual elements, the tanks, jeeps, artillery, and radio transmissions, work together to create a compelling illusion of a substantial force. At its core, Operation Bodyguard aimed to deceive German intelligence about the true location of the Allied invasion of Europe in June 1944. The Ghost Army played a crucial role in this intricate web of deception, often coordinating their activities with actual military movements to maintain a cohesive strategy. These notional formations were strategically positioned in southeastern England, far from the actual landing beaches in Normandy. The idea was to draw German forces away from the real invasion sites and towards these decoy areas. The integration of the Ghost Army's tactics with real troop movements was vital for maintaining the deception's credibility and effectiveness over time. This coordinated approach allowed the Allies to maintain the element of surprise and strategic advantage during critical operations throughout the war. Even today, the Ghost Army's operations serve as a testament to the power of creative deception and coordinated strategy in modern warfare. Their story reminds us that sometimes the most effective weapons are not force or firepower, but rather deception and the art of illusion. Ultimately, the Ghost Army's successes demonstrate that in warfare, just as in life, coordination and strategy can often be more powerful than brute force alone. As we continue to explore the history of warfare, it's important to remember that behind every great military achievement lies a complex web of planning, creativity, and most importantly, coordination. The Ghost Army of World War II wasn't just about numbers and strength, but also about deception and technology. It's this innovative use of tools that set them apart in their covert missions. Among the technological innovations they employed were wireless communication systems adapted for deceptive purposes. These systems allowed them to mimic genuine military communications, thereby convincing the enemy of a larger, more formidable presence where there was none. Inflatable jeeps and artillery pieces were also part of their repertoire, allowing them to simulate convoys and make-believe headquarters with remarkable realism. The creativity of artists and designers in the unit ensured that these decoys looked authentic and convincing. Their innovative use of camouflage added another layer to their deceptions. By blending these inflatable assets with the natural surroundings, they could further obscure the true state of their forces from aerial reconnaissance. The Ghost Army's innovations weren't just about fooling the enemy with false images and sounds, they also involved creating entire phantom divisions and army groups. This level of strategic deception required not only technical expertise, but also a deep understanding of military operations. These adaptations highlight the unit's ingenuity and resourcefulness, demonstrating how they used advanced tools not just to fight on the battlefield, but also to outsmart and mislead their enemies. Their tactics weren't just about making the enemy see what wasn't there, they were about creating a convincing narrative that could withstand scrutiny. The Ghost Army's success in saving thousands of lives during critical operations is a testament to their technological and strategic prowess. This blend of technology and deception was crucial in the unit's missions, illustrating how ingenuity can be as powerful a weapon as any physical force on the battlefield. While the Ghost Army's visual deception tactics created a convincing illusion of large military forces, it was their mastery of radio communication that truly sealed the deal. Radio deception was pivotal in reinforcing these illusions, making the enemy believe they were face to face with a formidable force. They employed fake radio transmissions that mimicked genuine military communications, creating the sonic illusion of an active army base. In one mission, they impersonated the 6th Airborne Division, broadcasting fake orders and intercepted messages to give the impression of a real army preparing for an attack. These transmissions were designed to convince German intelligence that a significant force was on the move. The Ghost Army also used recorded sound effects to mimic large troop movements and military activities. For example, they would play the sound of tanks rolling or artillery being fired to create the illusion of an army preparing for battle. By combining these fake radio transmissions with visual deceptions and sound effects, the Ghost Army manipulated multiple sensory inputs to mislead the enemy. This multifaceted approach made it increasingly difficult for the German forces to discern what was real and what was an illusion. To further enhance their visual deceptions, the Ghost Army employed a clever use of aerial photography. They created doctored images that made it appear as though large formations of troops and equipment were stationed in areas where none actually existed. During critical operations such as the Normandy landings, the Ghost Army's visual deception specialists would manipulate aerial photographs to show fake troop movements and equipment deployments. For instance, they might add inflatable tanks or vehicles to the images, creating the illusion of a well-fortified position. These manipulated photographs would then be distributed among Allied intelligence teams, further spreading the deception that a substantial military presence was in place. One notable example is Operation Viersen, where fake radio transmissions and doctored aerial photographs were used to make it appear that a significant force was preparing for an attack. The combination of sonic deception and visual trickery through aerial photography created a convincing illusion that was hard for the enemy to dismiss as mere noise. By combining visual deceptions with other tactics such as inflatable vehicles and sonic manipulations, they created a more convincing illusion of a large military presence. As the Ghost Army's operations unfolded across Europe, intelligence gathering played a crucial role in shaping their deceptions. Captured enemy documents provided valuable insights into German strategies and troop movements. Interrogations of prisoners of war revealed essential details about the enemy's perception of Allied forces, helping the Ghost Army refine their illusions to appear more authentic. Reconnaissance reports from aerial photographs and ground surveillance offered real-time data on German positions, allowing the Ghost Army to adapt their deceptive tactics quickly. With this intelligence in hand, the Ghost Army could create more convincing illusions, ensuring that the Germans believed a substantial force was present when none actually existed. The role of artists and actors within the unit became even more vital, as they used this real-time intelligence to adjust their visual deceptions and sonic manipulations on the fly. For example, during the Brest Siege, captured documents indicated that the Germans were suspicious of Allied troop movements in the area. The Ghost Army quickly pivoted their operations to incorporate this new information, creating a false trail leading away from the actual battlefront. In this way, intelligence gathering became an essential component of the Ghost Army's deceptive strategies, ensuring that their illusions were not only convincing, but also effective in misleading enemy forces. The Ghost Army would position themselves strategically, often using natural terrain features or even purpose-built structures to obscure their movements from aerial surveillance. Smokescreens were employed to create a dense fog, effectively blinding the Germans to their true location and strength. In addition to smokescreens, the Ghost Army made use of reflectors to mimic the presence of large formations. By placing these reflective devices in specific patterns, they could make it appear as though an entire division was assembled where there were none. These reflective devices, positioned meticulously, could mimic the presence of large formations from a distance, fooling German reconnaissance planes into believing they had spotted significant military activity. To enhance this deception, they would place decoy equipment, such as inflatable tanks and vehicles, in carefully chosen locations that would be visible from the air. Each element of this visual illusion was meticulously planned to create a convincing narrative for the enemy forces observing from above. These deceptive tactics required not only technical expertise, but also an understanding of how light and perception could be manipulated to create a believable facade. The Ghost Army's ability to create these illusions underscores the depth of their visual deception techniques, all aimed at misleading the enemy into believing a large force was nearby during critical operations in WWII. With each passing day, these men comprising artists, fashion designers, and other creative professionals demonstrated the immense value of their unique skills in the art of war. As they continued to refine these visual illusions, the Ghost Army proved itself to be a formidable force in the theatre of deception. Their innovative methods would leave an enduring legacy, showing how creativity and strategic thinking could change the course of history. Beyond the Ghost Army's innovative tactics, their strategies were also bolstered by collaborations with psychologists. This collaboration was crucial in understanding enemy perceptions and applying psychological principles to operations. The Ghost Army worked closely with psychologists to explore how the human mind processes information about potential threats. By studying enemy perception, they could tailor their deceptions more effectively. Psychological research revealed that certain visual and sonic cues could create the illusion of a larger force nearby. This insight was invaluable for creating more convincing deceptions. During such critical moments, the Ghost Army's deceptions saved thousands of American lives by convincing German forces that significant troops were present where there were none. By leveraging psychological principles, they could create a believable illusion that redirected enemy attention and allowed real American troops to operate undetected. This integration of psychology into their strategies showcased how a deep understanding of human perception could be an invaluable tool in military deception. Imagine the sheer audacity of creating a ghost army, an entire division that seems so real, yet is merely an illusion designed to confound and mislead enemy forces. This was no mere fiction, it was a strategic masterclass in deception known as Operation Quicksilver. But the Ghost Army's tactics went beyond just sight. They also employed sonic deceptions to enhance the illusion. Sound effects records mimicked the rumble of a large convoy, creating phantom divisions and headquarters that the Germans could hear but never see. As we delve deeper into the Ghost Army's operations, it becomes clear that their success was not just about military strategy, but also a deep understanding of human perception and its vulnerabilities to deception. To enhance their effectiveness, the Ghost Army often collaborated with other elite units, including special forces. This coordination was crucial in creating more sophisticated and convincing deceptions. In particular, the Ghost Army worked closely with the Office of Strategic Services, OSS, which later became the CIA. This partnership allowed for the integration of highly classified intelligence into their deception operations. The OSS provided crucial insights and data that helped refine the Ghost Army's tactics. For example, in Operation Bodyguard, they used this information to create notional army groups like the 1st United States Army Group, Fusage. These notional formations were designed to mislead German forces into believing that a major invasion was imminent, while the actual landing at Normandy was kept secret. The Ghost Army also coordinated with British Special Forces. Together, they employed a variety of deception tactics that included visual illusions, sonic deceptions, and radio transmissions mimicking real military communications. The sound of tanks and the sight of inflatable vehicles combined with false radio signals created an overwhelming impression of a substantial force in motion. The integration of these various elements into the Ghost Army's operations significantly increased their effectiveness. The collaboration with special forces brought an added layer of sophistication and realism to their deceptions. This intersection of creativity, intelligence, and precision demonstrates the Ghost Army's unique contribution to the war effort. Their methods illustrate the broader strategic value of deception in modern warfare, showcasing how innovative thinking and interdisciplinary collaboration can lead to significant advantages on the battlefield. In World War II, deception played a pivotal role in the Ghost Army's operations. As the war progressed, the Allies faced new challenges with the advent of radar technology. To counter this, the Ghost Army developed sophisticated radar countermeasures. These methods aimed to mimic large forces on enemy radar screens. One of their innovative techniques involved the use of chaff, tiny metal foil strips that could be dropped from planes or fired from mortars. When deployed, these strips created a dense cloud of reflective material in the sky, appearing as multiple false targets on enemy radar systems. This simple yet effective method could fool German reconnaissance into believing a large formation of aircraft was approaching. In addition to chaff, the Ghost Army also employed specialized vehicles equipped with radar reflectors. These vehicles were designed to mimic the radar signature of real military equipment, further enhancing the illusion of a large force nearby. By adapting to new technologies and continuously innovating their deceptive tactics, the Ghost Army stayed one step ahead of enemy detection systems. This adaptability not only fooled the enemy, but also underscored the strategic value of deception in modern warfare. As technological advancements continue to shape battlefield strategies, the legacy of the Ghost Army serves as a reminder that innovative thinking and collaboration can lead to significant advantages on the front line. Beyond visual and sonic deceptions, the Ghost Army also employed a formidable tool, psychological warfare. One example of their psychological tactics was the use of propaganda leaflets designed to sow confusion and demoralize enemy forces. These leaflets often contained false information about Allied troop movements and strengths, aiming to mislead German reconnaissance planes. Another effective tool was the use of fake radio broadcasts, such as in Operation Big Drum. In this operation, the Ghost Army broadcasted false orders to German troops, creating a sense of chaos and disarray. These psychological tactics were not just about misleading the enemy, they were designed to instill fear and confusion. By making the German forces question their own capabilities and the reliability of their intelligence, the Ghost Army significantly impacted enemy morale. This comprehensive approach to deception included not only visual and sonic illusions, but also the more subtle yet potent psychological operations. The Ghost Army's methods were so innovative that they continue to influence modern military strategies today. Their legacy serves as a reminder that in warfare, the battlefield is not just a physical space, but also a mental one. The Ghost Army's ingenuity was a formidable force, but it didn't exist in isolation. Their effectiveness often relied on seamless cooperation with other Allied forces. One key collaboration was with British intelligence, who shared their expertise and resources in crafting elaborate deceptions. Together, they conducted joint operations like Operation Fortitude, designed to fool the German High Command into believing a phantom army was poised to invade northern France. The French intelligence also played a pivotal role, providing local knowledge and manpower to bolster these illusions. One notable success story was the Brest Siege, where combined efforts led to a significant reduction in German forces' ability to respond effectively. This Allied collaboration highlighted the Ghost Army's work within a broader context of multinational military operations. Their deceptive tactics didn't just save Allied lives, but also played a crucial part in shaping the outcome of World War II. By collaborating with other Allied forces, the Ghost Army's efforts were amplified, making their deceptions all the more convincing and effective. In this intricate dance of deception, each player contributed uniquely to the grand illusion that misled the enemy. It's not just about maintaining the illusion. The Ghost Army had to adapt their tactics in response to changing battlefield conditions and enemy strategies. They were constantly gathering new intelligence, analyzing shifts in the theater of operations, and modifying their deceptions accordingly. During the Battle of the Bulge, for example, the Ghost Army had to rapidly alter their plans when German forces unexpectedly broke through Allied lines. The deception that they had previously set up suddenly needed to be reimagined. This constant flexibility was crucial to their effectiveness. By adapting to new information and rapidly reconfiguring their illusions, the Ghost Army ensured that enemy forces remained confused and off balance throughout the war. Their adaptability was not just a response to immediate threats, but also an ongoing process of refining their strategies based on the latest data and intelligence. It was this continuous adaptation that made them so valuable in a dynamic wartime environment. Through it all, they maintained their strategic value, providing a vital edge to Allied operations by continually deceiving the enemy about troop locations and strengths. Their ability to remain flexible and effective in a shifting battlefield environment was nothing short of remarkable. To effectively mislead the enemy, the Ghost Army employed a variety of creative methods beyond visual and sonic deception. One such tactic involved the use of pyrotechnics to mimic artillery fire and troop movements. Flares were deployed strategically to simulate the presence of large forces, creating an illusion that could be seen from miles away. Smoke bombs were used to generate clouds of smoke, imitating the dust and chaos of battle, further convincing German forces that a substantial military operation was underway. These pyrotechnic devices were not mere props, but critical tools in the Ghost Army's arsenal of deception. Their use required meticulous planning and precise execution to ensure that the artificial combat activity appeared authentic and coordinated. Artillery fire was mimicked not only visually, but also with sound effects, creating a convincing simulation of a battlefield environment. Each operation involved intricate choreography to ensure that the deception remained consistent and believable over time. By extending their tactics beyond visual and sonic tricks, the Ghost Army's deceptive strategies became even more effective in misleading the enemy. This level of innovation allowed the Ghost Army to maintain a strategic edge during critical operations, saving countless lives and securing crucial victories for the Allies. In addition to ground vehicles, the Ghost Army also employed fake aircraft. These inflatable planes were used to simulate air activity, further enhancing the deception that a significant force was present. Moreover, the Ghost Army used sophisticated sound effects to accompany their decoys. By playing recordings of vehicle engines and other military noises, they added an extra layer of realism to their illusions. Beyond the visual and auditory deceptions, the Ghost Army also employed a subtler tactic: forged documents. These fabricated papers included fake orders, maps, and intelligence reports designed to confuse enemy forces. For instance, a single operation might involve the creation of dozens of fake orders distributed among the units. These orders would outline false troop movements and positions. Each document was meticulously crafted to appear authentic, with accurate military jargon and official-looking stamps. Maps were another key element of their deceptive arsenal. These maps depicted fictional unit placements and troop strengths. By disseminating these false maps, the Ghost Army could lead enemy forces to believe that large military formations were present where there were none. Intelligence reports filled with fabricated data and analysis added another layer to the illusion. These forged documents were not just mere props, they were integral to the Ghost Army's strategy. Each fake order, map, and report played a crucial role in maintaining the enemy's confusion. By the time enemy forces realized the truth, it was often too late. The real Allied troops had already executed their maneuvers undetected. In this way, the Ghost Army's sophisticated document fraud seamlessly integrated into their overall strategy of deception and misdirection. In World War II, the Ghost Army's deceptive tactics were so convincing that they often required coordination with Allied air forces to enhance their credibility. For example, the RAF would be instructed to stage mock air attacks over fake troop encampments created by the Ghost Army. These simulated aerial assaults added realism and intensity to the illusions on the ground. Ground observers would report spotting large formations of aircraft, further reinforcing the notion that a substantial force was present in the area. The cooperation between the Ghost Army and Allied air forces ensured that every aspect of the deception seemed authentic. In addition to visual deceptions, sonic deception played a crucial role in the Ghost Army's operations. Artillery shells would be fired from hidden positions to mimic the sounds of a real battlefield, creating an immersive and believable scenario for enemy forces. One notable example was Operation Viersen, where fake convoys were created on the ground while RAF planes flew overhead, simulating air support for the supposed troop movements. This coordination added an extra layer of authenticity to the Ghost Army's ruses. The joint efforts between the Ghost Army and Allied air forces ensured that even the most skeptical German reconnaissance would be convinced of the presence of a large force. This collaboration amplified the Ghost Army's deceptive strategies, making their operations more successful than they could have been on their own. The Brest Siege is another example where the Ghost Army's illusions were bolstered by Allied air support. Fake radio transmissions and sonic deceptions, combined with visual misdirections, created a comprehensive illusion of a substantial military force. Through these joint missions, the Ghost Army effectively misled enemy forces into believing that significant troops were nearby. This collaboration showcased how different branches of the military could work together to amplify deceptive strategies and achieve critical objectives in WWII. The Ghost Army's deceptive tactics included more than just visual illusions. They also employed sophisticated communication strategies to mimic the presence of large forces. mobile radios played a crucial role in this endeavour, allowing the Ghost Army to simulate troop movements and radio traffic. These mobile units could be quickly set up and dismantled, making them ideal for creating realistic communication signals on the go. With these radios, the Ghost Army could transmit false messages that suggested significant troop activity in areas where there were none. This added another layer of realism to their deceptions. These transmissions could include reports of troop movements, fake orders, and even simulated conversations between units. The goal was to convince German forces that a substantial force was nearby, ready for action. The Ghost Army also used pre-recorded sounds and noises to enhance the realism of their deceptions. By playing these recordings through their mobile radios, they could create the illusion of a busy military camp or a unit preparing for battle. In addition to sound effects, the Ghost Army employed various techniques to make their radio signals appear authentic. This included varying transmission frequencies and power levels to mimic real military communications. The skillful use of mobile radios ensured that the Ghost Army's deceptions remained convincing. By creating realistic communication signals, they maintained the enemy's belief in a substantial force nearby. This realism was crucial to the success of their operations. As the enemy listened to these transmissions, they were led to believe that significant troops were nearby, amplifying the Ghost Army's overall deceptive strategy. One of the Ghost Army's most effective strategies involved collaborating with local resistance groups across Europe. This integration added a layer of authenticity to their deceptions, making enemy forces even more likely to believe that significant Allied troops were present. For instance, in France, the Ghost Army worked closely with the French resistance. These local forces provided valuable intelligence on German troop movements and positions, which the Ghost Army could then use to enhance their illusions. In Belgium, similar collaborations took place. Belgian resistance fighters supplied crucial information on German defences and planned offensives. By integrating this data into their deceptions, the Ghost Army could create more convincing misdirections that aligned with real-time battlefield conditions. The Dutch resistance also played a significant role in supporting the Ghost Army. Their detailed reports on German troop strengths and weaknesses allowed the Ghost Army to fine-tune their deceptive tactics, making the fake troop movement seem even more genuine. These partnerships not only bolstered the credibility of the Ghost Army's operations, but also demonstrated a coordinated effort between different branches of the Allied forces. This broader collaboration multiplied their impact and reinforced the enemy's belief in the presence of substantial Allied troops. Through these collaborations, the Ghost Army was able to amplify their deceptive strategies and save countless lives by misleading enemy forces into believing that a large force was nearby during critical operations. As the Ghost Army's deceptive tactics evolved, they realized that creating the illusion of a large force also required manipulating the environment to mimic actual military conditions. One such method involved using artificial fog and smoke. The Ghost Army employed generators to produce dense, realistic smoke that could obscure the visibility of enemy reconnaissance planes. These machines were designed to mimic the conditions of battlefields shrouded in smoke. Chemicals like dry ice were used to create an eerie, otherworldly fog that added to the eeriness of the deception. This artificial fog could disorient enemy forces, making them less sure of their surroundings. The Ghost Army's tactical deceptions relied on both visual and auditory cues. The sound of generators running, coupled with the sight of artificial smoke and fog, created a convincing illusion of a large force preparing for battle. To maintain realism, the Ghost Army even used controlled burns to create the scent of smoke, further immersing the enemy in an environment that seemed like a genuine military operation. These creative methods were yet another example of the Ghost Army's ingenuity in maintaining enemy confusion. Their ability to transform ordinary landscapes into convincing battlefields was crucial to their overall strategy. But how did the Ghost Army pull off such elaborate deceptions? The key lay in their collaboration with intelligence agencies. The Office of Strategic Services, OSS, and Britain's MI6 were crucial partners in this endeavour. For instance, during the Normandy invasion, the OSS provided critical intelligence on German troop movements. This information was invaluable for the Ghost Army to create realistic decoy scenarios. MI6 also played a significant role by providing insights into German tactics and plans. During Operation Viersen, this intelligence allowed the Ghost Army to stage a convincing fake headquarters in Belgium. The combination of visual deception with accurate intelligence from the OSS and MI6 created a powerful illusion. Without this collaboration, the Ghost Army's operations would have lacked the precision needed to fool German high command. The result was not only a successful deception, but also a crucial saving of Allied lives. This partnership highlights the critical role intelligence plays in refining and executing deceptive maneuvers. Without accurate information from these agencies, the Ghost Army's illusions would have fallen short. Inflatable planes, light enough for a single soldier to carry, were part of their arsenal. These decoys could be quickly inflated using air compressors, giving the illusion of a fully operational airfield. The Ghost Army also constructed fake runways, complete with painted markings and illuminated lights, to resemble active air bases. These decoys were not merely visual tricks, they were designed to fool German reconnaissance planes flying overhead. The aim was to make the enemy believe that a substantial air force was stationed nearby. One of their notable operations, Operation Fortitude South, involved these tactics extensively. The goal was to make the Germans think that a large force was preparing for an invasion in the south of England. The comprehensive nature of these deceptions is remarkable. From ground troops to phantom aircraft and mock runways, the Ghost Army left no stone unturned in their quest to mislead enemy forces. In the end, it was this meticulous attention to detail that made their illusions so convincing. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the Ghost Army prepared for their nocturnal deceptions. Under the cloak of darkness, they could create illusions that were even more convincing than during the day. Lights played a crucial role in their nighttime operations. They used portable lamps to simulate the glow of campfires, mimicking the activity of a large base. Their shadow tactics were equally sophisticated. By carefully positioning vehicles and equipment, they could create the silhouettes of entire battalions. Nighttime sound effects enhanced their deceptions. Using recorded sounds of troop movement, they could make it seem as if a large force was on the march. The creative members of the Ghost Army knew that every detail mattered. Even the smallest nuance could help sell their illusion to the enemy. As dawn approached, they would slowly extinguish their lights and fade away into the night, leaving behind only the memory of a powerful force. This adaptability and multifaceted approach in creating illusions demonstrated their commitment to misleading the enemy at all times. And as the sun rose again on another day of war, the Ghost Army would prepare for yet another set of ingenious illusions under the cover of darkness. As the sun began to rise over yet another day of war, the Ghost Army would once again retreat into the shadows. But this time, they carried with them an array of camouflage innovations designed to maintain their illusions and keep enemy forces at bay. One of the most ingenious developments was specialized netting that could blend seamlessly with various terrains. This netting was not just any ordinary fabric, it was designed to mimic the natural foliage and colors of the environment where it was deployed. For instance, in a forest setting, the netting might be patterned to resemble the leaves and branches of trees. In an open field, it could be made to look like tall grass swaying in the breeze. These camouflage innovations were not limited to just netting. The Ghost Army also developed sophisticated paint schemes that could transform the appearance of their equipment. Vehicles such as tanks and jeeps were painted with intricate patterns that made them nearly indistinguishable from the surrounding landscape. But the Ghost Army's innovations went beyond just vehicles and equipment. They also devised clever disguises for their personnel to further enhance the realism of their deceptions. Soldiers were outfitted with costumes and accessories that allowed them to blend in with the local population or mimic enemy troops. As the Ghost Army continued to adapt and innovate in their use of camouflage, they remained one step ahead of the enemy forces, ensuring that their deceptions were as effective as possible. It was on the wireless frequencies where the Ghost Army truly excelled in their deceptions. This involved mimicking the communications of real military units to create the illusion of large troop movements. Using false transmissions and interference techniques, they could simulate entire divisions moving across the battlefield. During Operation Bodyguard, for example, they simulated a massive buildup of forces in the English Channel. This deception was crucial to the success of the D-Day landings. While the actual troops prepared to storm the beaches, the Ghost Army's wireless deceptions kept the Germans guessing. This sophisticated communication strategy was just one of many innovative tactics the Ghost Army employed to enhance their deception efforts. To enhance the illusion of a substantial force, the Ghost Army created what they called Doppelgänger units. These were essentially phantom divisions designed to mislead enemy forces into believing that a large force was nearby. The composition of these units could vary depending on the specific operation. Artists and fashion designers within the Ghost Army would meticulously paint these inflatable tanks to mimic real army equipment, ensuring that any German reconnaissance planes taking photographs would be fooled into believing they were seeing actual American forces. But the Ghost Army's deception went beyond inflatable tanks. They also employed forward observation posts, strategically placed units that could monitor and report on enemy movements in real time. Consider Operation Tiger, a critical exercise for the D-Day invasion where deception was key. The Ghost Army set up these forward posts to gather intelligence and create the illusion of a large force nearby. Using sonic deception, they mimicked the sounds of a bustling camp. Meanwhile, artists meticulously painted inflatable tanks to blend seamlessly with the landscape. The real magic was in their adaptability. These observation posts provided real-time data, allowing the Ghost Army to quickly adjust their illusions based on enemy responses. For example, when German reconnaissance planes flew overhead, the Ghost Army could swiftly shift their setup to mimic a different unit or formation. This agility meant that the Germans were never quite sure what they were seeing. It was like trying to catch smoke, always elusive, always just out of reach. And that's what made the Ghost Army so effective. Their forward observation posts were not merely static illusions, but dynamic deceits constantly adapting to the enemy's perception. In essence, these posts served as the Ghost Army's eyes and ears, enabling them to deceive more effectively than any fixed illusion could. Their ability to gather real-time intelligence and adapt their operations allowed the Ghost Army to maintain an edge that proved invaluable during critical WWII operations. The Ghost Army members underwent rigorous training in sign language to facilitate silent communication during critical missions. This skill was especially vital in operations such as Operation Bodyguard, where the ability to convey complex instructions without vocal cues proved indispensable. During Operation Bodyguard, the Ghost Army was tasked with creating a convincing illusion of an impending invasion on the Normandy coast. To do this effectively, they needed to coordinate complex movements and simulations without alerting nearby German forces. The use of sign language allowed them to communicate essential commands and adjustments in real time, all while maintaining absolute silence. This method significantly enhanced their ability to deceive the enemy, giving the Ghost Army a critical advantage in high-stakes operations. The impact of this silent communication was profound. By eliminating the risk of vocal detection, the Ghost Army could operate with greater precision and secrecy. This commitment to operational silence not only bolstered their deception efforts, but also underscored the Ghost Army's unwavering dedication to maintaining secrecy. The ability to adapt and innovate in critical moments was a hallmark of the Ghost Army's operations. Their mastery of sign language was just one example of their versatility and strategic brilliance. Their legacy stands as a testament to the power of creative problem-solving and adaptability in warfare. The Ghost Army's use of sign language serves as a reminder that even in the most challenging circumstances, innovation can make all the difference. The Ghost Army didn't stop at inflatable tanks to fool the enemy. They innovated with phantom vehicles that could deceive even the sharpest eyes. Imagine a vast empty field, nothing but green grass and blue sky. Then, out of nowhere, tire tracks appear as if by magic. These weren't the tracks of real vehicles, but cleverly crafted illusions meant to suggest a large military force had passed through. The Ghost Army used inflatable trucks and jeeps, creating fake tire tracks to mimic the presence of a substantial armored division. But their deceptions didn't stop at just tire tracks. They also employed fake engine noises and exhaust fumes. These sounds and smells were designed to be indistinguishable from those of real military vehicles. To further enhance the illusion, they used air compressors to inflate these phantom vehicles in mere minutes. Imagine the surprise of a German reconnaissance plane spotting what appears to be a massive convoy moving across the landscape. But upon closer inspection, there's no actual army, just cleverly placed props and sound effects. This is the power of illusion at work, crafted by a unit that never shied away from innovative problem solving. Their creativity knew no bounds, constantly pushing the envelope of what was possible in deceptive warfare. With each new tactic, they challenged the enemy's perception of reality on the battlefield. And in doing so, they saved countless lives by giving real Allied troops the element of surprise. These specialized teams intercepted enemy communications, providing crucial insights into German plans and troop movements. Imagine a quiet night in 1944, deep in the heart of Europe. A Ghost Army soldier sits by a radio, earphones pressed tightly to his ears. He listens intently as voices from distant lands whisper secrets across the airwaves. These are not friendly chats but coded messages, vital for enemy strategies. The soldier deciphers these transmissions, his pencil darting across a sheet of paper as he notes down crucial details. Back at the Ghost Army's headquarters, these intercepted messages are analysed and used to craft more convincing deceptions. For example, if a message indicates that the Germans expect an attack from the north, the Ghost Army might create the illusion of a massive troop build-up in the south. This collaboration between signal intelligence and the Ghost Army was not just ingenious, it was vital to their success. By exploiting this real-time information, they could anticipate and counter the enemy's moves, saving lives and giving Allied forces a strategic edge. But the Ghost Army's ingenuity didn't stop at inflatable tanks and sound effects. They also employed a variety of theatrical props to create realistic illusions. Soldiers dressed as high-ranking officers and important personnel to give the appearance of a command center. This was enhanced by the use of sets and backdrops to simulate military activity. Theatrical lighting was employed to create the illusion of a bustling headquarters. These methods were not just about visual deception, they also included sounds of typewriters and telephones to make the scene seem authentic. Inflatable vehicles were just one part of this elaborate ruse. By combining these various techniques, the Ghost Army could create a convincing illusion of a substantial military presence. This level of creativity and detail was key to the unit's success in deceiving enemy forces. It demonstrated how the Ghost Army's expertise went beyond merely inflatable tanks and sound effects. Their innovative methods extended to every aspect of their deceptions. This holistic approach ensured that the illusions were both compelling and effective. The Ghost Army understood that the Germans relied heavily on wireless communication to coordinate their forces. By jamming German radio frequencies, they could sow chaos and uncertainty among enemy ranks. To achieve this, the Ghost Army deployed sophisticated equipment designed to scramble and disrupt enemy signals. These devices, often carried in mobile units, could mimic the signature of real military communications, adding another layer of deception. Imagine a convoy of inflatable tanks accompanied by vehicles equipped with advanced radio transmitters. These transmitters would emit signals that appeared to come from a large, moving force, further reinforcing the illusion created by the Ghost Army. The goal of these transmissions was not just to create the impression of a substantial military presence, but also to divert German attention away from genuine Allied operations. The Germans, unable to distinguish between real and fake signals, would be forced to react to multiple false threats. The combination of visual deception and radio signal disruption ensured that the Germans were kept off balance, allowing Allied operations to proceed with greater success and fewer casualties. To further enhance the illusion of a substantial force, the Ghost Army employed another ingenious tactic: phantom artillery. They used inflatable artillery pieces that mimicked real cannons, complete with detailed paint jobs to make them appear genuine from a distance. These decoy cannons were often accompanied by sound effects, played at appropriate intervals to mimic the sound of artillery fire. The combination of inflatable cannons, sound effects, and radio signals created a convincing illusion of a large, active artillery force. This phantom artillery was another crucial layer in the Ghost Army's multifaceted deception strategy. Their creative use of these methods not only confused enemy forces, but also provided real troops with a tactical advantage, allowing them to maneuver undetected. This demonstrates yet another ingenious method the Ghost Army employed to deceive enemy forces, ensuring that Allied troops could operate with greater success and fewer casualties. Imagine a vast expanse of terrain, either in the heart of France or amidst the rolling hills of Belgium. The Ghost Army would set up these mock camps, meticulously creating the illusion that a substantial force was present. The inflatable tents were a crucial component of this deception. These lightweight structures could be quickly erected and dismantled, making them ideal for creating the appearance of a large military encampment. Fake command posts were another integral element of these mock camps. These structures served as the nerve centers of the fictitious units, complete with fake maps, communication equipment, and even inflatable vehicles. To make the illusion more convincing, the Ghost Army would use a variety of techniques to mimic the daily activities of a real camp. This included setting up fake mess tents, creating simulated vehicle movements, and even playing recorded sounds of military activity. The Ghost Army was adept at adapting their tactics to different terrains. Whether in open fields, dense forests, or rugged hillsides, they could set up these mock camps to blend seamlessly with the natural environment. Maintaining these illusory bases required constant vigilance and creativity. The Ghost Army would regularly move their mock camps to new locations, keeping the enemy guessing about the true whereabouts of Allied forces. But the Ghost Army's deceptions didn't stop at land-based operations. They also ventured into the realm of naval warfare, employing ingenious methods to mislead enemy forces with what they called phantom naval operations. By mimicking the signals of actual Allied ships, they created the illusion of a substantial fleet moving across the sea. This deception was so convincing that it often tricked German reconnaissance planes into believing they had located a real armada. To enhance this deception, the Ghost Army employed visual tricks as well. They used lights and smoke to create fake ship movements on the water surface. These phantom vessels would seem to move and maneuver just like a real fleet, further confusing enemy observers. Sound effects were also part of their repertoire. By playing recorded sounds of ship engines and other nautical noises, they could make it appear as if a large fleet was approaching from the sea. The Ghost Army's adaptability and breadth of deceptive tactics were truly remarkable. Their ability to mimic not just ground operations but also complex naval maneuvers demonstrated their versatility as a multifaceted force. The Ghost Army's phantom naval operations were just one more layer in their intricate web of deception, designed to keep the enemy guessing and off balance. In the shadows of World War II, the Ghost Army's methods for deceiving enemy forces were as innovative as they were creative. They relied not just on phantom naval operations, but also on an arsenal of forged artifacts that mimicked authentic military records. To maintain the illusion of a larger force, the Ghost Army forged documents, maps, and other materials designed to look genuine. These deceptive elements were crucial in their intricate web of deceit. Each forgery was meticulously crafted to resemble the real thing, a labor-intensive process that required exceptional attention to detail. The documents were not mere fakes, they were precise forgeries, complete with official stamps, signatures, and codes that made them indistinguishable from the genuine articles. These forged artifacts served as the backbone of their deception operations, lending credibility to their simulated troop movements and fake units. For example, during Operation Viersen, inflatable tanks and sonic deceptions were complemented by detailed maps that showed the supposed positions of these units. The Ghost Army's forgeries weren't limited to paper, they also included fake patches for notional US army units, meticulously created by fashion designers. This level of detail and effort underscored the Ghost Army's commitment to maintaining the illusion of a vast force at all times. Their forged artifacts were not just a means to an end, they were the lifeblood of their deception strategy, ensuring that every aspect of their operations appeared genuine. By employing these meticulously crafted forgeries, the Ghost Army not only misled enemy forces, but also saved countless lives through strategic deception.